up? Hey.
Hey y'all. Hey. Welcome back to a special edition of Sipping and Just Saying with the Melissas. Okay, y'all see Laura Melissa right here. Hey y'all. Hey, listen. We are doing a part two reaction to this Janet Jackson queen, much respect of pop today. You could bring us in, Lauren. Bring us in. Because
Y'all, we weren't sure what we were going to get today. Okay. There were so many different directions we can get to, but we are here to talk about part two of the documentary. So much to cover, so much to talk about. I think I can speak for both of us that we are both very speechless. My eyes are puffy because, I mean, your girl was sobbing. You would have thought that she was on her last leg and this was her last statement to the world. But guys, if she announces a tour, it's a wrap. This new music,
like
you ain't got to worry about me. I'm gonna stream it repeatedly.
For me, it was everything that I was talking trash about yesterday. It was everything. And when I say talking trash, I use that very loosely. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I forget about where she went to prom. Forget about all of
You
that.
don't
I don't even need it. Like, I know she went to Hawaii on vacation. Okay. I know. I'm not even going to get into it. I'm not going to get into it at all.
Shout out to y'all that are in the chat that are here. Make sure you share it. I want to highlight TJ's comment. She says, oh my God. Lauren Melissa. She said, Lauren Melissa, you called it about Renee. We are going to talk about Renee.
We're going to get on Renee.
About Renee.
Listen, we have the people here. We don't want to hold them. Tell me what you want to what's the first
Well, let me ask you this question before we hop in.
Okay.
After viewing both parts, do you feel like you now know the real Janet Jackson?
Yes.
Okay.
But she didn't. What didn't she say? What didn't she tell us?
I have a list of stuff that I feel like we did not hear about, but
I'm going to tell you the truth. I kind of narrate my life to other people, kind of like Janet. I'm going to give you something, but I'm only going to give to the people that are actually in my life. So I'm that friend. You know how you see the memes that are like, man, you know, that one friend, you can tell them everything and they only told you one thing. I kind of know how to do that. And that's what she did. So I'm okay with that because I also am a good reader of people. And there was so much she didn't disclose.
Yeah.
So much.
But what did I tell you? I said, I don't think she's going to show her baby. And I busted out laughing when they showed the little high chair. I said, I cracked up. I said, not Janet, you could have kept that.
She didn't. She was like, no, not at all. But we can get into that. I don't, of course, I have a clearer picture of who she is. I'll say it that way.
We got to talk. Let's talk.
Let's
get into it. So we opened up the documentary with the recap of yesterday's part one, where they left off at the Rhythm Nation tour.
Right.
So they brought that back and they kind of moved into like telling the story of Renee. So Renee, y'all, where are my notes? Because well, first off, before we get into Renee, about Rhythm Nation, they also dropped some facts, like she's the highest paid recording artist, 50 million records. Then she dropped the first record label, went to Virgin Records. What I want to point out, it is a shame that, you know, I thought that Thriller was like it, but the fact that her, you know, her body of work,
it exceeded Michael. It really did exceed Michael in a lot of ways.
And that's very telling.
Yep. And that was the respect that I gained for her body of work. Not gonna lie. There was a season that I just completely missed. The Velvet Rope season. I was not really into that. And then I jumped back on as far as a fan is concerned. And when I say miss, I just wasn't checking for her. I'll say it that way. But I think it's very easy for you to not check for her because she's kind of like how we were saying with Common. She's so unassuming. I think she's humble and she's just kind of moving. She's just doing what she was doing. But let me see. I had notes on that too.
Yeah, so we can talk about, let's get into Renee, because like they went from Rhythm Nation, then they talked about Renee. I said yesterday, like I can't put my finger on it, but
Okay,
something.
wait. Before we get to Renee,
Mm-hmm.
I pointed out the style. As soon as it opened, and TJ, you're in the comments, you already know. Of course, you were a little girl, you were a baby, but also were you guys, because I don't remember, were you guys dressing like Janet a little bit? Was she a dress influence? Because just like Regina King said, we all had a key hanging, like Poetic Justice era. Oh, please.
Yeah.
We all tried it. Were you guys like that as well?
I think what we pulled from was the Rhythm Nation, like the hat,
Okay.
I even have a picture on my Instagram where I have this like blazer on, and I'm like, it's giving Rhythm Nation, it's giving Janet, you know what I mean? So I think that was the piece, but then I would jump from Rhythm Nation, ignored the stuff in between, and jump to Velvet Rope. That image, it is that sensual, sexual, really chill yet chic, the red hair vibe, like all of that is my style to this day.
Listen,
I will. Yes.
I kept looking at her and I was like, she can wear the hell out of some jeans. Just some jeans. And so, but like I said, when one thing that stuck out to me, just for me, growing up in that era, and I was just like, yes, it was all, when she hit them blazers, we hit the blazers. When she hit them shoulder pads, listen, we were there. Listen, the hair, I remember that one hairstyle that she had, the layers was going in, like, we were there.
Yeah.
So she was definitely a style icon that I think a lot of people don't give her credit for. The Hollywood Walk of Fame, I talked about that a little bit. But then also, like you said, the highest paid ever. So let's go.
Yep. We went from
yes, Glenn. Sorry.
No, yes, the box braids. That is definitely iconic. So Renee, I said like he was given something like, really overbearing.
Yes.
This documentary did reveal, like, I didn't know how much of a creative hand he had in like her music videos, her artistry.
Yes.
What I would have liked to hear, I mean, we already felt the impact of like, yes, she's a warrior. She did not play the victim role without her disclosing anything in terms of like her divorce settlements or whatever. But I think that would have been really impactful because like they even showed a clip of like, I feel like I played a major part. Like he definitely went for the juggler. I mean, one, they probably had to give him some money they probably had to give him some money to use the footage that they used in here. And
that's what I said.
I mean, and the fact, I mean, obviously the Rolling Stone cover, she had to break him off a piece of that.
He drained her, I bet.
That's what I'm saying. And so you hear about Toni Braxton's bankruptcy, but you don't, I mean, granted, Janet Jackson didn't have to go through bankruptcy, but I would imagine it was like a major hit. And I don't mean to go forward, but what the heck? They spent $7 million on the Scream video.
Did you see? I was like, sir, we're going to get on that because that is an era that I think is very, very important.
Yeah.
But on to Renee, what I wrote, because just like as we were saying, he was given very much Kevin Hunter. But what I'm trying to figure out, and maybe you can help me, what I wrote was, and I texted you, I was like, he's obsessed. But I also didn't really feel like he was obsessed with her. He was obsessed with her stardom. For lack of a better term, he got the big head. Like, this is my machine.
Yeah. She even alluded to it. She was like, when I was going through it, I was, going back to the beginning, like, were you only with me for my family's name?
Yes.
Were you with me for my, because I, all that stuff. So I think definitely she had to, scale it back, man. Like, okay, so Renee,
we're taking calls tonight. I think let's get through our thing, and then yes, TJ, we'll get calls. So Renee ended up being exactly what we thought he was going to be. Again, the way she said things without saying things is kind of like the way I would disclose myself on social media. So I'm kind of used to it. I'm kind of used to saying a lot, but really not
saying enough.
Not saying enough at all. And what I got from that is, yes, Renee, he switched. Even when he was sitting in the courtroom and he was talking about all he did and all this other stuff, he was venomous. He was like, yeah, I'm emotional, I guess. But, basically give me what's mine.
Yeah.
Renee.
What happened to the love, Renee? What happened to the love? But he knew what he was doing though from the beginning, right? Because who has the like again recording like footage every day
It was
and
weird.
in my mind, I tweeted, I was just like, really, Renee? Like he kept saying, like, this is just for Jan. Okay,
No.
Renee, let me sit you down for a minute. I am a multi-million-dollar artist who works all the time. When am I ever gonna have time to sit down and watch these home videos? And right now, you probably on video number 150. When am I gonna watch this?
Exactly. And I picked that up too, where there was just never a moment to just be. He was always thinking of the next money thing. And he knew people desired her. He knew that they thought she was a sex symbol, all that stuff, and he capitalized on. He exploited her.
I literally was just gonna say the fact that he was okay with other men touching on her in front of him, that's exploitation to the umpteenth degree. Period. He should have been gone. He shouldn't have lasted that long. Okay, let's get off him.
Not to fast forward.
Yeah, we can get off him.
But we're talking about the guys. But did you hear the producer, the guy with the white hair? He said what I was trying to say yesterday, which was, you hear about her taking all this from her dad, and she goes, cutthroat. She don't play, but her choice in men.
Yeah,
we'll get to that. Yes, Renee was an opportunist. Exactly, Stacey Ann. Those are the words that I was missing yesterday. He was obsessed, but he was only obsessed with her to be able to exploit her. He exploited her.
Yeah, he did. He did, and that's sad because
telling a friend, Lauren, do your hair like that again, and they were like,
but you know what really makes me upset is she has been exploited since she was a kid.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, like to have been thrown on stage in Vegas at a young age as exploitation. You don't have a choice.
I agree with you 100%. I have no argument against that. I think it's exploitive. It's just no other way to say it. And that's what I'm saying. When you asked, okay, do you feel like you know Janet? If I feel like I have more questions to ask, if nothing else, I have a different point of view of her in the sense of why she is the way she is.
You don't need any additional details for you to know that she was dragged from start to finish.
And if she's been through a lot. She's been through a lot, as we all have. So we're going to get you guys comments and everything. We're just going to go. And if you want to call up, only thing we ask is that you have, well, no, I won't say that, but you have to be on camera, because I was going to say, I know some, you got to be on camera. So we have to know who you are. Anyway, so are we done with
we're done with Renee. We can get off him. We gave him enough airtime yesterday.
Right, because that's what he wanted. All right. What was the next section we said?
The next thing was Poetic Justice. So this was when she kind of moved into, they were like, she signed with Virgin, and then she put a halt on creating new music, and they were like, hold up, like, we signed you and you're not gonna do music, you're gonna act. Right. And y'all, Poetic Justice is a classic. Number one, shout out to John Singleton. Yes. He really leaned in, and I wrote in my notes, Regina King, the GOAT, give her flowers. Okay. Period. She has been putting in the work since the 90s, even before then. And I mean, she is so underrated. Like,
I wrote that down. And the fact that with her starting off in Poetic Justice and then ending with Tyler Perry and everything else in between, the Sherman,
Nutty Professor, yeah,
and everything in between, I think even her acting career is understated.
Yeah.
And it wasn't necessarily shadowed by her music, but at the same time, when you realize everything that she was juggling, including the personal drama, those Jacksons had some drama. We're going to get into that.
Yeah. I do want to say too, I think her acting career just really proved that she was really intentional and really invested in her craft. When you think about artists who go from music to acting, it's more of like a redemptive thing. Like, I have to do this for me and I have to prove. But she didn't do it to prove anything to us. It was more so like, I want to explore this side of me. I know there's more to me. There's more than just my pen to this paper and writing lyrics and going on tour. I want to do this. So, like, to me, I'm like, yo, this is someone who really knows themselves and really spent a lot of time with themselves. So, like, I was just like, yes, Janet, when you know, and even if people don't agree with you, you're going to have to go on your own path. So shout out to Janet.
And I think after yesterday and after a certain point yesterday, whatever, maybe after control, she really began to take control of her life. And I think the acting was a part of that, where it was like, you know what? I want to try it. I want to try it. Renee exploited her a lot, but just like when she called on her choreographer or the friend to kind of help her out with Michelle or whatever, a lot of the influences that she had around her in certain moments was really good for her to catapult her into major, crazy stardom. So that was good also. So I wrote about that.
I wrote down, okay, Janet and Tupac. I mean,
I wrote, yes.
Shout out to Regina for keeping it real, right? Because she was just like, I know she had a man, but you can't deny that the tension was thick in the building. And I said, yes.
She said it was and you know what? When you think about how exploitive Renee was, I wouldn't even put it past him to be like, yeah, go date him for and I'll call the paparazzi on you.
Yeah. You know what? You bring up a good point. Who's to say that he was not feeding them stuff about her?
I don't trust him.
No.
I don't trust him.
No, not at all.
Like I said yesterday, every moment, and they confirmed it today, he was always filming, and like a special moment with her and her mother. And I loved, and again, we see the bulldog Janet, the stubborn Janet, the persistent Janet. Like, no, you're not going to make my mom refilm that. No, stop. You know, but instead, prior to this documentary, I think if I had to vote, what did Janet do? I probably would say she probably said, okay, I'll refilm. But no, we're seeing that
bite.
Yes, that bite. So let's see. They talked about Renee not having that turn off button. We already knew that. So after that moment, unless you got anything else about this.
Nothing for Poetic Justice.
The only thing that I wrote, and I'm going to just change it, is hotness.
Yeah, that was my next thing. Was 90s Janet is my favorite. Her style, her looks, she was chill, she was sexy, this sensual vibe. I mean, they were right in saying that there was a shift where women were becoming more in touch with their femininity and their sexuality. And Janet literally, like, who was it at the end that said, oh, I think it was it Missy Elliott, when she was like, oh no, it was Whoopi Goldberg. She said, Janet is every woman. And I said, the fact that she went from, like, you know, she evolved. And
I was gonna say that word. It was the evolution of Janet Jackson.
Yes.
And we saw it, and we might have missed certain moments of it because, of course, life happens, and we're not obsessed fans. But at the same time, this documentary took us from this little girl, but then sprinkled all her hurt and pain that she didn't necessarily talk about, but we knew it was there.
It was implied. Yeah.
Listen, when the lap dance series, the videos, the photo shoots, I was here for it all. That was my Janet. Like, yes.
I literally text my mom and I was just like, yo, I just want to thank you, because she, like, at literally 98, I am in Joe Louis Arena as an 8-year-old girl watching her strap a man to a table Janet. And my mama didn't even try to cover my eyes. She said, girl, this is art.
Exactly what I said. Linda has a very good question. I mean, comment. And we talked about this yesterday, Linda. And it was also noticeable this part, on this part. She says, what I noticed is that she has no good girlfriends.
Yeah.
And what I'm learning, I'm gonna push back on that comment just a little, because look at the people that paid homage to her in the video. But then also, I feel like a certain section of Hollywood, Black Hollywood, you're ever on Instagram and you're like, I didn't know they were friends. I didn't know they talked. So I'm starting to second guess this. She doesn't have close friends thing. But definitely on the footage, I agree with you, Linda. Like, openly, no. If according to us, she has no friends from what she shows us.
Yeah.
But Instagram is really telling with that, because when something goes that, like, to me, I didn't even know Serena, Sierra, and all of them ran like I didn't know until recently. over the past couple of years. So yes, that's a very good point. She didn't really.
And two, I think she said it in yesterday's part that their friends were her family, right? So she, from the beginning, I think it wasn't like a trust no one message, but it was just like, this is who you have and this is who you roll with, right? And
Yes.
and so when the family started to deteriorate, it was like, well, if I can't really have that solidness in my family, which is supposed to be a solid infrastructure,
Yes.
why would I look for that in strangers in a way?
Yep.
And so I don't know. I'm pretty sure the fact that she didn't have that intimacy or that relationship with a person definitely played a role, which is why she was like, what do you want, Janet? I want love. I want to be in love, right? She missed that part. But I do think that her foundation from the beginning played a part in like, this is where you keep it. You keep it in the circle.
And she played that role. The only person that comes to mind in that family, I'm sure there's more, that went against that was LaToya. And that's why she was kind of like ostracized, because no matter how they felt about each other, I'm telling you, Janet, they kept it tight-lipped. Like, I mean, who knew that during it? Like, we knew they weren't close, but I feel like there was some tension in seasons between her and Michael.
Yeah, they definitely painted a different picture, because if before this documentary, I would have thought they were thick as thieves.
Always.
This documentary showed me that she's thicker with Randy. Like, her and Randy are like this, not Michael. And I think it was always that way. But the media would be like brother sister duo and all these things, and it definitely made you think otherwise. So yeah.
And even I noticed when she tweeted out, "Hey, part 2 is happening tonight," she only tagged Randy. She only talks to Randy.
He was an executive producer, so he had a part 2, so that could be why, but you're right.
Yeah, but okay, we'll say that's the reason. I'm speculating, but at the same time, Toya wasn't there.
Yeah.
It was just Rebe and
where was Jermaine? Where's Jermaine? Where's Latoya?
Tito.
Well, Tito was there. They showed one. That was he had the hat on. He had the hat on, and then Randy was the one that was just bald with the glasses.
Oh, okay. So the Rolling Stone cover.
Yes.
I loved it.
I hate that Renee's hands was on it though.
He was so full of himself.
Ugh.
Renee, hey, David X. Renee was so full of himself, and that's what I was trying to pinpoint. And I finally got the words as we were talking about it just now, because I was like, okay, what is it? He was obsessed, but he wasn't really obsessed with her and who she is. And I'm in love with this woman. He exploited her, and it got him exactly where he wanted to be, I guess.
Yeah.
Talk about being a sex symbol.
Sex symbol. I mean, there's nothing to be said. It says it all. I mean, he again, this intentionality, like the intentionality to want to act, this intentionality to be like, I know there's another part of me, and I want to learn that. So I'm gonna call my homegirl, and I'm gonna tell her, hey, on this set, help me tap into it, like bring it out of me.
Right?
Just like Paula. Paula brought something out of her. All these people are bringing things out of her. Like it's people that are instrumental in your life. Come on, life lessons. People that are instrumental in your life that bring certain things, and then it's a season. You ain't hear from Paula after Rhythm Nation.
I promise you, we didn't hear from Paula. But I like the fact that Janet is so in tune with herself, and because we've seen throughout the documentary, one thing that she kept saying: when enough was enough, Ben, that's enough. That's it, Ben. Mother, is that okay how are you feeling?
That's it, right.
You want to talk about it? And it's okay. Okay, fair enough.
And left it alone. Hello.
I know I'm not a sex pot, so I'm going to call my friend to help me dig all that out. That is a woman that is in tune and honest with herself.
Mm-hmm.
And even still, because I was trying to count the marriages. And you can say what you want to say, right? You can say what you want to say, like, oh, it's she's going on her third one or whatever. The fact that she left can still be commendable, because she was like, listen, this is not it, and this is not what I want, and I deserve better.
Yeah. Yes. TJ said those abs though. Listen. Yes. We could talk about body image too, because like I would have never known that she struggled with like confidence and like those insecurities existed when she was saying how Renee would really nitpick at her and her image and like what you look like when you walk out the door. Yeah. Michael, when they were young, would like make fun of her weight. And to me, I thought she was perfect every time, right? perfect. Like, I mean, I'm still trying to get them abs, and we going on year number 30.
Don't even mention it. Yeah, I thought of course, we know she's not perfect and her farts stink, but at the same time, body-wise, what she presented to the table on that stage, I would have never thought that she, in the back of her head, there was a little bit of self-doubt. The same thing, again, it was giving details. So when she was like, hey, I'm an emotional eater, I'm like, see, that's what I wanted to know.
That's what I said. Yes, me too, girl.
Me too. You know, I'm watching the show and I'm eating hot fries. And before I know it, I'm like, why the hell are you eating these hot fries like that? Because I'm an emotional eater. I was digging the show. I was all in my feelings, and it was great. Oh, we're going to get to it.
I was just going to say, we're going to get into the men's, honey. Linda, we going to get
Linda, we going to get into it, Linda. Listen.
Do we want to jump to, what was next after that? So we went from Poetic Justice to her Rolling Stones cover, to Velvet Rope Tour, her sensuality. Let's talk about Michael Jackson messing up her bag with Coca-Cola, because
before we get to that, one thing that I wrote down, and I was laughing. If you know me, you know I have a crazy sense of humor. Why was Renee? Well, is this the same time? Yeah. Okay, so this is the same time. Yeah. Why was he in the board? Why was he sitting there? I said Renee was on every set. Go ahead, talk about it.
He gonna talk about, you know, we are just really excited that this partnership. Boy, if you don't be quiet, this is because of me. Like,
I'm telling you, he thought that he was the machine behind Janet Jackson.
Coca-Cola. Pepsi was with
that's Michael Jackson.
Yeah, Pepsi was Mike, and that was also Shady Boots. But I was rooting for Janet. I'm like, yes, let's get this deal with Coca-Cola, because y'all want a little battle feud situation. You got it, right? Because her brothers had Pepsi, and she's like, okay, y'all want to do Pepsi without me? I'm gonna do
every
Coca-Cola.
Chance that she got to go left and they were going right or straight, she did. She was like, and
didn't bat an eye. She didn't bat an eye.
No, I feel like that Coca is spelled wrong, but it might be right. There's no other way to spell it, but it just doesn't look right. Maybe this, but anyway, I noticed that about her, and I'm that kind of way, especially just to prove a point. Like, not stubborn, and not stubborn in the sense of cutting off your nose to spite your face. Never that. But from a standpoint of, you're not going to be able to say that you were the reason why I was successful. Now, you may be an influence on that success. You may have helped me along the way, but I'm not going to ride somebody's coattail. That's my whole point. We see that in these YouTube streets. You know, we see connections just by name because somebody wants to come up. And so that's what I was thinking. That's what I thought about.
Yeah. Okay. We can move on. I just wanted to mention, like, that's jacked up that Michael messed up the bag.
And did you know that?
No,
I
didn't even know. Yeah, I mean, we wouldn't have, right? Because it didn't leave the boardroom. You know, it was just like no papers were signed. It would be different if she had sealed the deal and then they were like, actually, on second thought, it hasn't been 30 days. We're going to pull it back. Like, they
and it was so weird, because not weird. It's very interesting to get all this tea, and even in the age of social media, she still was like, everything is fine. I'm fine. You're going to get what I'm going to give you. And right now, you're just going to get my baby's finger, and that's it. You're going to get my face and these abs, but I'm not telling you my family's business. So honorable. Like, or even my business, you know, she didn't go F Coca-Cola. Like, cause you know, a whole bunch of people would have boycotted cola if they had known.
Yeah. This, so after that, they went into, because obviously they went into the Michael Jackson thing, because the Michael Jackson scandal is what messed up her deal. And then that's when they were like, she was like, I needed to be there for my brother. And I agreed to do a song with him. Girl, Michael ought to be ashamed. God rest his soul. But I'm going to need you to treat Janet better, because, I mean, and I get it. Your team sometimes dictates. I've been backstage or whatever, where the artist wants one thing, but your team does another, right? So who's to say that Michael didn't want her on set? Her team probably did block her from all that, or it could have been Michael. We don't know, right? But she was just like, I was not allowed to come, blah, 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 blah.
Weird.
So that was very weird to me.
Filming on different days and closing the set off. That was very weird to me.
Yeah. But honestly, shout out to the editing, shout out to the directors for piecing it together, because we never would have known.
You never
The
would have known.
chemistry kind of was there, but I mean, it fit the song, right? The song was meant to be
the song.
edgy. So if there's tension there, it's meant to be, because the song is like full of tension, right? So it's, yeah.
Thank you, Glenn. I was like, that don't sound right. That don't look right. But it's gone now anyway. He's like, Coke. I'm like, no, there wasn't Coca. But listen, that tells me that's when the country comes out. I'm not even from the country, but that's funny.
Hello. Sorry, I was reading the next comment. The disappointed. Where listen, no. They're great. When we get on the Super Bowl, I have a lot to say.
No, read the comment. Read the comment.
So impudent demigod said, disappointed. So we're lightweight blaming MJ for a lost Coke endorsement and negatively affecting your career, but not blaming the two white men who helped ruin it.
No, you're talking about two different things. That's two different incidents. So he's saying, why are we blaming Michael for the lost Coke deal, but we're not on Timberlake? That was
but I get his comparison though, right? Because when we get to the Super Bowl thing, she even inserted a video recording on her phone saying, "Don't blame Justin." But then you're allowing people to kind of jump to conclusions and saying, "Dang," like just like I did, and was like, "Dang, that's Michael's fault." You know what I mean? Michael should have said this, made a statement instead of paying off his accusers.
We're lightweight blaming. So is he saying we're light blaming, or
no? I think he's saying like the world, because Twitter was going off too. Like that's jacked up. I don't think
blaming Michael Jackson for lost Kobe. Okay,
I get what he's saying.
Yeah. Okay. It went over my head a little bit.
But so it's basically like, she's correcting him. She says, no, the Coke deal got tossed aside as a backlash for the claims against Michael Jackson.
That's
very true. But I think the point he's trying to make is, in both situations were jacked up, right? Both situations, something was taken from her, right? She couldn't go to the Grammys. She couldn't get the Coke endorsement.
Go ahead.
Yeah, she couldn't get the Coke endorsement. But both instances had nothing to do with her. Like, she had no control over the situation. She didn't do anything with Michael, and she was not the one who ripped the thing from her chest, right? So in both instances, she's placed in positions where it wasn't her fault, yet she's being
protecting them.
She was protecting Justin, but she never said, she never really said it's not Michael's fault.
She didn't. You're right. Because even in the documentary, she said, "Oh, it's okay." She was like guilty by association. Right. That's why I'm trying to
said it comes with the territory.
But that's why I'm saying they went through some stuff. They were not as close in the end as we thought they were. She loves her brother. She loves her family. Do not get me wrong. But I also feel like there was, and you let me know, and you guys in the comment section, let us know. Do you feel like there was a level of regret, for lack of a better term, that she did support him, so to speak, dropped everything to be by his side at all costs?
I wouldn't say
guilty by association comment.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that she felt like she missed out on stuff because she had to be there for him. I think she went back to her roots and was like, that's what family does. And because I think
she regrets that, is what I'm saying.
No.
You don't think so? Okay.
No.
I feel like she did, only because she was just like deep side guilty by association, and she was just kind of, I'm looking at her demeanor as she was talking about all that was lost during that season. Sort of like a mini blackballing, like, oh, you're his brother, you're supporting him, so we don't want to work with you type thing. Not that she would have done anything different, but maybe some resentment.
Resentment is probably the best word, because she even said, I wish he hadn't paid them off because it makes him look guilty.
Right.
Like, she didn't agree with his actions after the fact, but it was like, who am I?
Yes, that's my whole point. Like, I feel like there was a little bit of resentment, but also maybe it's just a lot. It's just a lot. And of course we're all let me see. I felt she was sad the way the video
went. It was disappointed.
It was very disappointing. And I guess that's what I'm saying. Like, I dropped everything for you. I want to support you. I want to do this. And then your team is treating me like this. Like, I forgot his nickname for her, but I'm and not the piggy one. Like, they have like a special family nickname. But anyway, I'm Janet. I'm your sister. What do you mean we're filming separately? What do you mean any of that? Like you would have never known that. So yeah, yes, to protect the Jackson legacy, which she is part of. Okay, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I have a lot to say about the Super Bowl thing. I can't wait to see the Super Bowl and Jermaine Dupri because, honey, a mess.
And to me, you see too says it was hard to see the way they were not as close. And I love Michael Jackson. He's my number one favorite artist. I had no idea. Janet is a sweet soul. I think so too. I came out of 1 and 2 like loving her more as a person and what she presents. She means well. She means well. And because of that, I do think that she has been vulnerable to being exploited, but she's a smart cookie. It ain't gonna last long. Even if it comes and she's blinded, it's not gonna last long with that one. She's a smart cookie.
Yeah. They said her nickname was Dunk. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Dunk. Dunk. And yes, I noticed it. Every time she turned around on stage, I'm like, sis, okay, I see it.
Yeah. Yeah, we read that one.
Okay, we said that. All right. Yep, thank you, Glenn. So okay, so we talked about her needing to break out her shell. My question was, do you think that was a strategic, instrumental part of her career that just really, like, could she have just been in her shell, shy Janet, and all of that without that moment where she needed to be broken out of her shell and just calling that person to really get her into that sex symbol type of a deal?
I think she would have fallen off quicker had she not, right? Because there's the world at that time was like evolving, and if you weren't evolving with the times, you kind of were going to get left behind. Yes, like they said, like Control was Control, Rhythm Nation, like all of those were like hits, and it was like, if I'm going to have a follow-up, it has to be great. And I think because the anticipation was built so much, it was just like, I want to give them something they haven't seen before. Like you can't really do a similar like hardcore social justice impact album again because they already got that. So what else would you do? So it's like, well, let me give them a piece of me. So they get the advocate Janet, but then I'm gonna give you the sensual Janet, right?
It was perfect. And for me, I thought about that time. And I always talk to my kids and just kind of give them what was going on around that time. You had the rapper girls, Lil Kim. I don't know if that's the same time, but in my head, I'm thinking, okay, the extreme was your video girls. Okay, they were expected to show and shake. That's just what they were expected to do. Madonna was on the other end of the thing where she just was out there and whatever. Like that's just Madonna. She gonna be that. But I think she paved the way, like Monet said, at the awards. Janelle Monáe. She, like she said, she kind of paved the way for it to be okay to be sensual. Now, what we're doing nowadays is extreme, in my opinion. But she gave you just enough to be glued to the TV, like, wow, I hope I'm that pretty when I grow, or whatever, or for guys to be lusting after and everything. But it showed, it showed
the mystery behind it.
It wasn't trash. It was wow. It was mainstream. It was great.
Yeah, it's the mystery behind it. Like she got a little bit to be desired, and it was tasteful.
I saw her live at the time, and the show was lit. Love it. Exactly. TJ gets what I'm saying. Sensual, but not raunchy. Exactly. Big difference. And I never looked at. Now I don't care what she showed. I mean, listen. No matter what she did, I never thought and equated it to raunchy.
No.
Even Mariah, when you think of Mariah, like, no, I just, that's what I thought.
Yeah. Okay.
I did not know, and maybe I heard wrong. I didn't rewind a little bit because I wanted to be on time. They're cousins with Stevie Wonder.
That's what I wrote down. I was like, huh? Somebody was like, okay. Somebody on Twitter was like, okay, play cousins or real cousins.
Exactly.
But either way, I think honestly, back then, everybody kind of had that like family feel. Yeah. The Motown era, if you started with them, you kind of were family in that sense. So
Because it's a documentary, I think it really is her cousin.
They brushed over it though quick because I blinked. I was like, hold on.
To say by way of whom and what, but they didn't.
No. I wrote down it is, what I took from this when they concluded the Michael Jackson and Janet Jackson relationship part, how crazy the music industry is, and intentionally, I don't think, well, it is intentional, but like just intentionally tearing apart families. Like they're not the first family in the industry to kind of, break apart. You think about, well, that's the first one in terms of like chronologically, but you have that. You think about the Knowles family, you think about Britney Spears and her family, and just, when you start off in stardom, you really become victim to just that breakup. It's sad.
And the way I summed it up, I said it shows the importance of team and who you have in your team, because when you think about what Michael, whether he allowed it or not, what happened with his team when that Scream video was being recorded, somebody was responsible for it. And it wasn't by accident. Like no one, why? What was the purpose? And so, like you said, the importance of having the right people around you say, hey, this is not what we do. Mm-hmm. And I think business has gotten a bit in the middle of it all between them.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Not Glenn dropping the tea.
What Glenn say?
He said Janet called Tina Landon to keep an eye on Renee, allegedly. Word on the street was he was cheating on Janet with a backup dancer, not for no come help me feel and look sexy. Janet was giving half the tea. Listen, I was cracking up because when she was just like, yeah, here you are, another person I was addicted. I said, come on.
I heard it yesterday though. She said, I always just, at very beginning of yesterday's show, she said, I always just seem to get involved with people who are addicted to stuff. And she was like, but not all of them. I was like, see,
we going to talk about addiction because listen. Okay.
Janet mentioned that years ago. Okay, go ahead.
So we're moving on to the Jermaine era.
Okay.
This is, so they introduced Jermaine before the Super Bowl. Because I have in my notes how they went from that's when they revealed that he was on drugs.
Okay, so you want the Jermaine era? Okay.
So I'm still trying to wrap my mind around them being a couple. I mean, very oddly, who am I? But
I didn't like it.
Wait, TJ said, listen to her song, "Son of a Gun." It's totally about Renee. Now I'm gonna have to go look up the lyrics, TJ.
Yeah, someone told me to look up something else. They thought it was about Renee. So yeah, I heard so much living in California. Yes, I truly appreciate that she was able to say that she was happy with her. Yes, with the father. Yeah.
And it made her emotional. I like, it was like there was a method to his madness.
Absolutely, right? Absolutely. So we have you want to talk about, let's talk about Jermaine.
Yeah, let's talk about Jermaine. I thought that it was a very random, like, them getting together. Like they met at a I forgot where he said they met at. Was it a party?
He said it was I thought it was like something business, and he walked in and he was like, you don't know me.
Oh, backstage. He went backstage or something to meet her or something.
You don't know me, but you will.
You don't know me.
You don't know me. And when she got with him, I was just like,
disgusted.
This is not it for me.
Me too. I was like, come on. First off, somebody said that somebody like posted a little meme, like they were searching on the internet, like goes to Amazon to find Jermaine's confidence. Because I mean, sir, the fact that you could pull Janet, it tells me a lot.
Right. But does it tell us a lot about her? Does it tell us a lot about him or her?
Both. Her, in that she was a little desperate, and then him, he got game.
I don't know. I think she thought he was going to be something different, and maybe he presented himself to be something different,
and she believed it.
And I think he probably was one of the most unproblematic relationships, but he fumbled the bag, fumbled the girl in the most dramatic way. Like he missed it. He missed the mark. But he was adult.
When they said, so Jermaine, how did it end? And he said, how did it end? Somebody was like, I knew he was gonna lie right when you repeat the question. Like
Right.
when you repeat the question, you know you about to lie. He was just
Don't
like,
it? Listen, I just wasn't here for that relationship anytime. And that's when I fell off kind of because I was like, this is not, I didn't believe it. I was like, this can't be real because, oh, wait, wasn't this the same relationship? The ring was lost or stolen at the airport, the bag or something like, oh,
no, I don't know about that one.
something, it might not be, let me look it up. But I just wasn't here for I have nothing too much to say because I wasn't here for them to.
Yeah, so yeah, Jermaine cheating. Like
That's not what, okay. This is what he was saying. He said, no, I meant how could have the unmitigated gall to slick blame Michael Jackson for a lost coke deal, but not blame Justin Bieber. Okay, yeah.
Justin Timberlake, not Bieber.
Running her old, yeah, I got it.
Yeah. Oh, she said that was Tony Braxton, the ring and that was that story, not Janet.
She was okay, but Tony started dating somebody weird too, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Tony started dating somebody that you were just like, what?
Oh, I know you ain't talking about baby boy from Mint Condition. That was weird. He was cute. Okay, let me go back to Jermaine. Okay, so the fact that he didn't make time for her, like, oh my God, like this just proves that looks don't really matter. Because I've heard people say like, go for the person that ain't really, easy on the eyes, because they treat you right. It's a lie. It's all a lie.
Thank you, y'all.
Birdman. Okay. Yeah, that's
go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, like, looks don't really matter. Men are gonna men. Men are gonna fall into the way.
And I'm glad you pointed that out. And a lot of people have to understand that. And not all men do these things. That's not what I'm saying at all. However, we as women have to, and I think that would be great for when we talk next week, when we're talking about this, the BBLs and all these things that are these surgeries that are just absolutely dramatic and ruining people's bodies, but they don't see it. But who are they doing it for? Who are they doing it for and why? But also just thinking about these absolutely gorgeous women who, unfortunately, we as normal women would sometimes compare ourselves to and be like, oh, they're so much prettier than me, or they're whatever. But the truth of the matter is,
men don't care.
They don't care.
Men don't care.
Because you would think, oh, Jermaine got Janet, he would be on the straight and narrow.
I knew. Look, I knew when what's his name? Jigga cheated on Beyonce.
I knew way before then because I'm older than you, but yeah.
Men are gonna men. Like you, this is Beyonce. This is Janet.
Yeah. JD said that dating Janet seemed to make women want him more. Absolutely.
Well, they say when you got a ring on your finger, one, I didn't know that he actually proposed to her. That was news to me.
Yes, he did.
And she said yes. And I was like,
yes, right. That's what I thought. Jermaine seemed to be very immature, but it was honorable of him to leave the Grammys board after they invited Janet to the event. I think so too, Stacey Ann. He just wasn't ready for that commitment. He wasn't.
I told you she was robbing the cradle. Like he was young and she was like older. How much older?
She wasn't ready. Janet dodged some bullets. James, Renee, Bobby, no kids with them and caught up in their addictions. Lord, Janet dodged.
That's why I love her, man. And you would have never known. Golly.
No, we would not have known. And because a lot of that was tea. A lot of that was like, oh, okay. Yeah, very, very interesting. We're gonna get into the start at the top with you guys' comments, but I just want to make sure we get all of our points out. And then after a certain point, I just couldn't even take notes because it was just so much. It was too much.
I did. Yeah. Oh, I did write this down. Had Jermaine Dupri not cheated on Janet, we would have never got the iconic album Confessions by Usher.
No.
Because listen, that was about him. Come on. The bag for Confessions because that album is going down in history.
Isn't it? It is. Did we get on the Super Bowl?
No, we got to talk about the Super Bowl. We got to talk about the Super Bowl. I think our eyes were glued to the TV because I was just flabbergasted at just the amount of, like, they were really reaching, like dragging her. And I did tweet this, like, the simple fact that she, like, you could tell that video she kind of made probably yesterday and was like, hey, I got a small edit. Can we put this in here? Hey guys,
Right.
please don't be mean to Justin Timberlake. We're really friends now. Like, nah, fam, we're going to continue to drag him because, like, he could have done more. Like, yes, you told him don't submit a statement, but he could have made a statement in a different way by like not performing at Grammys or by holding people accountable. Like, you know, you could have done it
silent for a very long time. He let her take the blame for that for a very, very, very long time. I want to talk about that aspect, and I want to talk about the aspect of the fact that it was just a nipple. It was a freaking nipple.
They show nipples now all the time.
And then look what we have now.
Wow.
Look what we have now. I bet those moms wish they had just a nipple, but it was just the way they responded was absolutely dramatic.
Yeah.
It was a nipple.
Yeah, Jermaine Dupri and Janet are 6 years apart, and that's just too much. I think 5 might be my max. 5 up, 2 down. Like, you can't.
XDM says, DMC says, did I tell you about the time I dated Janet? Wait a minute, not Janet Jackson, a Janet from around the way. You had around the way Janet. I understand exactly. It's crazy to see how much media has changed and allowed. I remember, I tell my kids, I remember Madonna. I remember when Daisy Dukes from the Dukes of Hazzard, that she was extreme. Peggy Bundy, extreme, all boobs. Y'all help me out in the chat, those of you that are around my age. There were certain 80s, 90s sitcoms, people in media where it was like, she's wearing that or whatever. And then, like I said, the video girls were allowed to do whatever they wanted to do, however they wanted to do it. This just don't bring it mainstream. But again, a nip snip. I'm with Tyler Perry. Like, stop.
It's a nipple.
It was a nipple.
Yeah. One thing Tyler Perry gonna do is give us a job, okay, honey? Because he was like, Janet, don't worry about them. Come be in my movie.
Did you believe that did you think that she was? I knew people were freaking out, but I don't think I processed Baywatch. Yes, the Baywatch bathing suits back in the day. Like, those were things that were allowed on television, but it was extreme. Like, as if America was, I don't know, Mormons or something, covered up. But what were we talking about? And I was like, yes, I wanted to bring that part up with the Super Bowl. It'll come back to me. Oh, I don't think I processed just how much of the backlash she received.
I didn't know it was that either.
You guys need to comment down below. Let us know if you knew it was that bad for her, or you were shocked that it was that bad. I knew. Go ahead.
I didn't know it was that bad either. Like, I didn't know the ins and outs. I didn't know how much they were, like,
they were dragging her.
Yeah, they were fining her. I didn't know.
I didn't know either, but she was essentially blackballed. I did not know that, when she finally went to do the because Janet has a way of staying out of sight. So her being out of sight, just chilling, I'm not
used to it. Yeah,
I'm not suspicious by it. So I had no idea that she lost so much as a result. Like, wow.
And that's why I kind of wanted to hear about, like, how much she lost, because when you think about it, you think about her separation from her dad at the beginning, her two albums before Control that flopped. You think about her divorce with Renee. You think about the Super Bowl thing. Like, those are massive hits.
Those are massive hits
in your pockets. And maybe she was, because they said that her deal with Virgin Records was like she was the biggest signed artist. So perhaps the hits to her pockets weren't that major, but still, like, I would have, to regular people, if you said that, with everything that she went through, she probably spent over $50 million. I think I would have been like, yo, y'all need to get this woman a whole entire block in Hollywood. Forget the star. You need to give her more than that, because she deserves.
Yeah, she's been through a lot. And just like you said yesterday, one thing that I kept reminding myself, or just really telling myself as I was watching this, I was like, this is really good. This is a good one, Lifetime.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you leave and it's like, that was trash. We knew all that, but this was a good one, Lifetime. Kudos to Lifetime.
Yeah. Stacey Ann said they really tried to destroy her. I think that Jackson last name played a major role. And yes, I do believe like it was like, since we can't get your brother, we're gonna get you, right? Because every time Michael got into it, he kind of weaseled his way out until he
every
couldn't,
time,
right?
every time.
So it was like, if we can't get him, we're gonna get you. And yeah, it's really messy. The
The
machine,
machine.
the machine, as Tasha K would say.
So into you, MJJ, the man says, no, I did not really realize that it was that bad. I didn't. I have never liked Justin Timberlake after that messed up man.
It was made worse because of Les Moonves, the ex-CBS executive that's over Viacom, which also years later had to leave his job due to, scandals. So it's like, you got your own dirt, baby boo. It's just crazy.
And it wasn't that serious. When you think about the time, it wasn't, an extreme time where sex, it wasn't selling. Sex was definitely selling during that time. And then there was speculation that she did it on purpose. And I'm like, no. Once you watch that documentary and realize just how much of an introvert and or shy she really is, she didn't do that on purpose. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Confessions was way before that. Stacey Ann, I agree exactly. And yep. Before we drop the link, what else did you want to talk about with it? Where we at? Oh, we got 3 more minutes.
Just shout out to her for being 50 years old and having a baby. And there's the one question that I want to ask you. I had a list of things that I feel like was missing, or I would have loved to hear a little bit more about.
Okay, let's get it.
My list was, she didn't talk about her Las Vegas residency. She didn't even mention it.
She didn't. They didn't show footage.
They didn't show footage of that. So I wanted to I wonder what that was about.
Yeah.
She didn't even mention her book. The guy who was with her in the studio when they showed that footage, he was like, yeah, he mentioned like helped her write a book. That was the only mention of a book that we got. And I wanted to hear a little bit more about like, what was her reasoning for writing the book? What was her experience? I wrote down, where is LaToya? Where's Jermaine? She didn't talk much about her husband, her baby's father.
She didn't talk much. She didn't tell us anything about him.
No, nope. She barely told us about her son. Like, let's be honest. Okay.
Yeah.
And then she didn't talk about her experience doing the Nutty Professor. And I was surprised that Eddie Murphy was not in this.
Right.
Because didn't she do the both movies? Like the first. Yeah. So, I mean, the fact that Eddie Murphy is just nowhere in sight.
Nowhere.
You got Tyler Perry, but you didn't get Eddie Murphy. You got Regina King, but you didn't get Eddie Murphy. Like there was nothing. So those are my wonderings of like, what's up?
And that's my whole point when I say she said a lot without saying anything.
Yeah.
As far as the book is concerned, she either got a lot of backlash from her family, depending on what it's about. So she's not going to mention it. She's not confrontational. So there will be nothing in that documentary. This wasn't Wendy Williams. She was not going to put anything in that documentary that her phone would ring at once it ended.
Very true. Very true. That is true. My last thing was, can we get I want a Jackson's documentary. Oh, and she did not talk about the Michael Jackson movie, like the Michael Jackson movie, but the Jackson's movie where how she felt about it, or if she approved of it at all, or what the impact was on people's view of her father, because that movie did put her dad in a negative light. And so I kind of wanted to know like what her,
she's not going she's not gonna right now. Her phone's ringing off the hook with congratulations, girl. Oh, we did it. Da, da, da. But no one's like, why did you say? She said she dropped the T. I'm surprised, just knowing how non-confrontational she is. She probably like, you know what? Hell, you got me for all that money. I'm mentioning your behind. A large part of that documentary was Renee.
Yes, it was.
A large part was, okay, Renee, try me.
Yeah.
So I want to know those things too. I don't really care about the book, but I would like to know what happened to the Vegas thing. But then, they probably say COVID or something.
But no, she finished it. She completed the residency.
You want to know if she liked it or
well, just more so like how did she land it? Because the perception is when you get a residency on a strip, your career is over. Like they usually say like that's the signal of the end of your career, right?
That's
so
true.
I wanted to know like what was her reasoning for doing it, or did she feel like it was the end, or was it just a way of like I need to keep busy or I'm gonna lose my mind, and this is a way to be constant. I don't have any new music, but I know I'm a legend.
That's
so
true.
this is that kind of thing. Shout out to Stacey Ann. She said she should have talked about Randy and Jermaine having children and marrying the same woman. I said, listen, this is why I want to get a Jackson documentary. I want to know all the tea. Because they need, like, yes, Michael and Janet were the matriarchs and patriarchs in terms of like artistry and music, but like every other Jackson deserves their flowers. Jermaine, Tito, Randy, like they all deserve, and they were iconic too.
I feel like the only two she talks to are the two that we saw mainly in the video. She don't fool with the rest, with none of them.
No.
That's just what I feel.
Yeah.
Something happened between her and Eddie Murphy, probably.
Yeah, perhaps.
So yeah.
All right. I think I covered all my stuff is done.
Me too. So I'm gonna drop the link. I know that you guys wanted to come on. Again, we have to see your face, please. And join up. I'm going to read the comments and we'll comment on you guys' comments as we wait on you. If not, we will go ahead and say our final piece and move on. So anyway, Glenn says, I enjoyed yesterday's reaction, so I'm here today. Hey, Glenn, I remember you. Oh, Glenn, thank you. He said, Melissa, with your nosy behind. He said, Janet did go to the prom with Sly Stone's son, just to let you know. Thank you, Glenn. That's just a little piece of non-important information that I wanted to know. TJ, when you are ready, go ahead and give me your thumbs when you're ready. Thumbs up. Okay. All right, y'all. Welcome to the show. We have TJ. She has a comment about what was really going on.
Yeah.
All right, girl.
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
Period.
That's all I got. Wow.
Listen. When you leave me speechless, that's a lot. When I don't listen, before we started the live, we cammed up and we was just like, this Lauren, I would get through it. And I'm just like, that was me yesterday. Like I was emotional yesterday. I was just like, man, this is too much. What do you have to say about this one, TJ?
Well, I was getting ready for the Renee thing today, and that's why I'm channeling Janet Jackson with the hat that she wore in that video. So you all need to go check that out. The Son of a Gun video. She was waxing that ass in that. Really? And you need to listen to that song. She was, and Missy Elliott is on it too.
Yes.
Oh, you need to listen to that song. She was waxing that ass, and again. It was really monumental for me for that time because unfortunately I was going through a divorce at that time that song dropped. So, we were like here.
Right.
But I knew that he was a a-hole. I heard he was an a-hole, but it was a whole new level.
No, she poured and handed each of us a glass. It was everything that I needed to be, everything that I thought was lacking from yesterday. Today, literally all day yesterday, I was like, today, only thing I can give Lauren as I was watching was emojis. That's all I could do. I was just like, whoa, wow. And then at one point, I'm like, close your mouth, Melissa. Close your mouth. Thank you, Friendsgiving. Great talk, ladies. I brought it back. You brought back so many memories. Janet will always be an icon. Always, always, always. Thank you so much for the super chat. I really, really appreciate it. Yes.
I've been listening to her music since yesterday. All of it. All of it.
I smiled a lot today. Did you cry more today or smiled more?
I smiled more.
I smiled more today. You smiled more. Lauren, so when you were emotional, where was that? What was?
I'm sorry, I'm on mute. I'm like, I'm crying more. I mean, I smiled more. My tears really were from like, I'm really glad to be alive and have experienced it. We crack up because
it's fangirling.
I am, and it's not even like so much of I'm a fan, but it's just like she is like that woman. Do you know what I mean? Like she is the epitome of like what we go through and struggle with, and she did it, and she went through it with class and grace. You know what I mean? Like she did it in a way where we didn't hear her, you know, fighting back with the tabloids. It was just like, I'm gonna take it, but then I'm gonna rise above every time. And to me, like, I just think about my mom. I think about all the strong women in my life, and I'm just like, yo, there are everyday people that remind me of her. And I just got emotional because there are people in my generation who don't know how like iconic she is, and even younger than me, who never really got a chance to experience like that era. Like I always joke and I'd be like, man, I wish I was born in the 80s, you know, or the late 70s, so I can have lived through, because I feel like the 80s and 90s had the best music. But I was really young. It was. And I'm like, and I was hating too, because I'm like, I would have been all in the front row. But just the fact that I even had to slither of the piece to experience a piece of her catalog, I was just grateful.
I think, and TJ, you tell me what you think. I think the media was so, I don't know what the word is, inserted there, that you back then you didn't even have to attend a person's concert to be a part of their culture. And so I smiled today because I was like, I remember that the hoops with the earrings and the hat, and my hair swooped to the side, and her wearing her natural hair, and everyone else followed. Like she changed her hair, we were there. It was, so I smiled because it was so nostalgic. Like it was the best. It was absolutely best.
And I've never been to any of her concerts.
Me either.
Ever. But you hit the nail on the head. I mean, but but here's the thing. Even though I never went to any of her concerts, you could get it on DVD at the time. And I had the Velvet Rope DVD. I was doing the dances in the garage.
Garage, living room, everywhere. And to your point, remember, that was when MTV and VH1 actually showed videos.
Yes.
So, and BET. So we actually got the videos. And so it was like, yes. Rhythm Nation. Oh man. Listen, I smiled the entire time because I was like, yes.
Yeah, yes. There was a point in time, I think it was like maybe after Demita Joe, like she would go on tour a lot. Like she went on tour for like every other year. And me and my best friend, every concert she was at, we would go.
Oh
no. Can you hear me now? Am I still there? Okay.
I can hear you.
Oh, it got to a point where I think it's you.
Is it me?
Frozen a little bit.
Yeah,
you're frozen a little bit. It got to a point where we would continue to go to each concert, and then
we're back. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, your Wi-Fi is like going in and out. Can you still hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Oh, I'll finish the story. So, anyways, so we would go to all the concerts, and it got to a point where we got mad one time because we were like, this is the same show from before. Like, she didn't change her clothes. She just took a jacket off, and we were like interrogating it because we were literally go to every single concert, probably from the year of like 2012, between 2012 and 2017. It was, we were at every single Janet concert.
Wow. That's amazing. No, that wasn't in there. You know what? I said hang in there because it was buffering. I don't know what the heck was going on. But it was just great. It was just a great time to be a kid. That's why I was also feeling a little nostalgic and a little smiley yesterday, a little teary-eyed, because yes, crap was going on even in that day. But it was just a good time to be a kid. You could run to the corner store, and everybody along the way, you know, even when she went back home and everybody was like, hey, you know, that type of thing. It was just a feeling of community and family and all of that. And so when I looked at all the videos, I'm like, man, I remember where I was during that time. I don't know. It was just great.
Well, one of the things is that I think the music, you know, since we're talking about Janet Jackson, her music was fun. Yes. It had a message, but it was fun. It made you want to get out of your seat, move, you know, smile. I mean, it make you want to dance but, you know, really dance, sweating and everything, you know, but now not so much.
No, not so much at all. And then when there is a feel-good one-hit wonder that comes out, they play it forever, and then it becomes a TikTok dance, and then it goes away. These songs are timeless.
That part.
See, and I think it was funny. I was talking to someone yesterday and they asked me, what do I like to do for fun? I was like, I usually just sit and listen to music. I don't, sometimes there are weeks where I don't turn on the TV, and my music consists of Janet Jackson, Toni Braxton, Freddie Jackson, Anita Baker. And I like named all these people. And this person was very shocked that I could just name off all these people. Because I was just like, because that music, to your point, TJ, was like, it's fun. It had a message. It didn't make you feel like you had to like go get a BBL tomorrow so that you can shake it behind.
Somebody.
Yeah, I'm not trying to fight. I just want to feel loved and feel sexy and be in my femininity. You know what I mean? It was just amazing.
It was. So I have a question for y'all. Looking at the time, who do you think? I already know mine. Who's most influenced by her today?
Beyonce.
Yeah, but that's not who I was going to say.
Sierra.
That's who I was going to say.
Sierra
can listen, and she does. I think she's Janet every Halloween. At least every other Halloween.
Yeah,
but she's got her down pat, But yeah, I think Janet and Beyonce.
Thanksgiving. How old were you when you went? Because I was 8, and that was also my first concert.
She goes, I probably was too young to be there, but I'll never forget it.
I'll never forget it.
Yeah.
Never. I could definitely send a text message to my mom, like, if I don't tell you nothing else, I am grateful for you, because you definitely started. I said, you started it for me. You opened the door. She took me to every concert, and it was weird too. Like, imagine going to concerts with your mama, like from 8 to like 14, and everybody in there by themselves, like.
Into me says everybody.
Memories, honey.
Yeah.
Memories for the last a lifetime.
Yeah, not everyone's doing Vegas, Bruno, Dell.
I'm gonna let you ladies go, but I just had to, get in. I was, mine was just blown.
Yeah.
Listen, go after y'all get off, pull up the video, son of a gun, listen to the words. Janet is waxing.
Okay. I will. Thanks for coming up, TJ.
Yeah. Okay, bye, TJ.
Bye.
Bye. I forgot about this one.
Tiana Taylor. Yeah, that's actually I would put Tiana above Sierra.
Me too. That was a really good one. Into me, you see, because when I see her, obviously they don't look alike, but definitely she's got her mannerisms, can dance and body for days, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And Tiana leaves nothing in the dressing room.
Never.
She says, I'm bringing it all, and it's going to be put right here on the stage.
Yep.
My last Janet tour was 2017, 18 in Grand Rapids. I drove a couple of hours to see her.
Yes, she did come to Grand Rapids, and I did go see her. Yes. Shout out to Grand Rapids, because I was living in Grand Rapids in 2017.
Shout out. The remix, Ashlyn says.
I wonder if when she went to Grand Rapids to tour, did that trigger her at all? Because that's where the DeBarges are from, and that's where she got married and all that stuff. I
don't know what okay. So when you talk about what I would like to have known more, she gave us snippets of stories, but she didn't really dive into what it made her feel in that time. It was just, I overcame it. That's all you need to know. She didn't say I met a good therapist. It put me in a dark place. Like, to me, she didn't tell that part of the story.
Which I'm trying to think, like, is it necessary?
No, that was the whole point. She really didn't need to. That's what we were saying. Like, we knows what we know what at least a fourth of those things feel like.
Yeah. Heartbreak.
Heartbreak, dealing with weight, like being compared to a family member or not being compared to them.
That's true.
Yeah, we got a bit of it. So that's what was missing. Man, Janet, you got us. That was great.
Yes. Shout out to, thank you. Look at that.
Wasn't that nice? Thank you, Into Me, you see too. Much love for responding to all my messages. Great chat, ladies. XOXO. Yeah. You are absolutely welcome, and thank you for blessing us with that super chat. It's fun. That's what we do over here. We're on the couch, child. We're in the room together and just sitting around, drinking and talking. She told the story of how she wanted. I'm glad she could control her own narrative. Yes. Yeah. It put a lot of rumors to bed, and she said what she said. I don't really have any major questions at this point. Not at all.
I don't even want to. I think I'm good. I don't need to know any more about her life. I hope her baby grows up happy, healthy, and away from the media in its venomous ways. I want nothing more for her to be prosperous and to continue to do what she enjoys. That is my hope, and that is my final word.
And I was going to say, and then my final word, because that's a great final word. The other part is, as a mom, I felt that where she was like, I'm just going off to be a mom right now. Like, that's my greatest accomplishment. That if you want to dog me and say I became a mom or whatever, I'm okay with that. And I love that. I identify with that. And like you said, I wish her well. I hope this was as cathartic as we feel that it was for us. I hope it did what it needed to do for her. Yeah. One thing I do that I picked from the whole documentary is she is someone that is really into protecting her peace. I said that yesterday. So that is one thing that I'm glad that even through it all, that she was able to say, you know what, no drama. I don't have time for it. So I love it.
Yeah.
So glad they talked about the secret daughter. Yeah, true. I went to her discipline signing in Hollywood. So she's so beautiful and her eyes are so gorgeous. Yeah, Ashlyn, I kept looking. I was like, this woman is gorgeous.
It's the cheekbones, honey. It's the like permanent smile and the shape of her eyes. Oh,
I kept looking. I was like, this, and for me, what did it for me is when I looked at her back in young adulthood, preteen, just gorgeous, just natural, you know, and even now, like, yeah. One more and we're out of here. Janet did a classy documentary. She's not going to have her son growing up wondering if he has a half sister, etc. Exactly. Her smile is everything. Exactly. That's what yeah. Just absolutely. Okay, one more.
This is
Twitch user GZ Doctor Forever. The Super Bowl took place in conservative Texas. At the time, Texas' son, President George W. Bush, was in office, and Texas natives wanted her son, while Willie Nelson, to play. I remember that. There was a thing because they didn't think that she should play. They wanted Willie Nelson to play. I remember that. When it was given to an African-American woman, that already made them mad and was looking for something to get angry about. Yep. And on that note, I do remember that. But also on that note, that's why a lot of people got mad when Beyonce did Formation. They act like Formation was the worst thing ever. And I'm like, man, you can't deny that Formation halftime. Don't even. So anyway, y'all heard Lauren's final thoughts. I gave my final thoughts. We really, really appreciate you guys tuning in to part 2, our second night of filming and reacting to this Janet Jackson documentary. Yeah. Make sure you subscribe to Lauren. Did you put it in the chat?
Yeah. Let me see if I can put it in.
So as she's pulling that up, make sure you guys go over there and check out her channel. She will be back on Friday. I was going to ask you, but I got to what? Friendsgiving. Thank you. One more. Again, great job, ladies. This discussion really took me back. Oh, thank you, Friendsgiving. Absolutely.
It's awesome.
Do I think Janet has? I don't even know if she ever divorced the dude.
She is actually with I feel like she got back with Jermaine Dupri. And you want to know why I say that? Is because at the top when it had his name, it said Janet's boyfriend.
Thank you. Had fun listening and talking. That's from Glenn. I thought that she was still married, but you think she
got a divorce. She got a divorce in 2017 from Homeboy.
Okay, so she's divorced. And like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if it's Jermaine because he was the most unproblematic.
In a way.
In a way. Exactly. In a way. But I hope not.
Oh, that's it. Yes. They did not ask her the elephant in the room question. Did you get your nose done? Because I want to know.
Yes, she did. Absolutely did.
I want to know.
Yes. When is the one about plastic surgery? We're gonna do that next Friday. Is that Friday?
What?
We're gonna talk about the K. Michelle one.
Yeah, you know what? Y'all gonna have to pray for me and hope I watch it. Because after this, I just feel like nothing is gonna top this documentary. So y'all, I'm gonna try to watch it.
She's so dramatic, y'all.
I don't know. I told y'all I don't be watching TV. I'm gonna listen to music now.
Linda, we'll see. But even if we don't talk about the K Michelle one, we did say that we were going to talk about this whole thing, because I had this video I want to edit out and talk about. So just be looking out for Lauren's channel. She has weekly videos. I have weekly videos. And sometime between tonight and tomorrow, I know we both will begin to plan our week and actually upload when we're there. So
yeah,
I her nose. It is cute. No,
it's cute. I really do think that she's back with Jermaine Dupri. Y'all go back and see it, because it said Janet's boyfriend. It could have said Janet's ex-boyfriend, because they're very specific. Because remember, yesterday they changed Joe Jackson's assistant's title. Did you remember that when it was like it went from Joe Jackson's receptionist to Janet's first assistant? Like, so they know how to change it.
Well, you know, I'm gonna go look and see who's following who and what's happening. You guys pay attention to my community poll, because I'm gonna when I get off here a little later, I'm going to put out some polls just to see what you guys are talking about. But Lauren put her YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to Lauren. Again, this is my channel, Melissa Berrien. And again, we'll be back next week for sure. But we both have content all throughout the week. So thank you guys for commenting. We can comment in the chat below. But Lauren and I are going to enjoy our families and enjoy the rest of our Saturdays. Thank you for hanging out with us for this cute hour and a half. Okay. Yeah, that's it. Y'all be kind to each other. Listen, like I always say, just be kind, because you never know. Janet proved it. Like, you just never know what people are going through and how it affects them. So anyway, friends, we're out of here. Peace.